You're watching CoastLife with Leah Rizzo and Charlie Sakaitis.
We've talked a lot here on CoastLife about AI, changing technology, how fast technology has changed. I mean, really in the last 20 years, I feel like it's just the carpet's been pulled out from under you every time you think you've got a handle on technology. But is there any outdated technology, Charlie, that you feel like you are going to carry with you, like you still use it because it's your preference or you just like it?
It's not my preference in that I still use it because I don't have one in any of my cars, but the crank window. And you know what's interesting is one of the newest vehicles that is coming out, I believe it's from a company called Slate, I'll have to check that, but they're creating an EV truck and it's got a crank window. And part of the whole thing with this truck is it's going to be bare bones in every way, but you can kind of do updates yourself in terms of they're going to put all the information open source. So if you wanted to like 3D print a little phone holder that could go in, whatever. So there's a lot of future leaning stuff in this vehicle, but I like that everywhere else it's bare bones so that they can keep the price down. And I'm not against, this is not hard. If this is the difference between a couple $1,000s in my car, I'll just do this. So
that was one of the things that, like, as I started to feel like I was getting older, I was watching somebody's teenager, you know, and I picked her up from school, and we were in my truck that had crank windows, and she and her friend, they were like, "Oh, crank windows! I've heard of these," and I was like, "You can walk the rest of the way home, thank you."
Did you feel 1,000 years old at that point?
I did feel about 1,000 years old.
2,000 years old, because that is like, you know, the Matt Damon turning into an old man at the end of
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan, yes.
Yeah, either that, and I'm so glad that they didn't see, because for a long time I rocked the cassette converter, the cassette tape with the cord to plug into your MP3 player or phone.
I'm familiar with that.
I had one of those for a long time, but I do think, sort of staying in the realm of cars, that for me, I do like to have like knobs or buttons. Like,
so
I don't like touch screens in my car.
This is very important, and this is actually something that I've seen a lot of different groups talk about, because you're starting to see those like full-on iPad size touch screens. And what has been determined or discovered, I don't know the right word for it here, is that people prefer the buttons because they can actually tell if they've hit it, because you're not fully looking. You want to keep your eyes on the road. With the button, you can feel the click. You go, okay, I know I got that. We're good. When it's the little touch screen thing, you really have to look. You're taking your eyes off the road. It's actually not all that safe.
No, I have been in a Tesla one time, and I was like, I don't know that this is the car for me. I could barely get in the Tesla, first of all, because the handle like opens counterintuitively. Like all of it was embarrassing. I was like, thank you for letting me approach this vehicle. I'm so sorry. But the whole like dashboard looked like one big touch screen, which was insane to me. But I was like, wow.
I like the click of the button. I think it makes a difference, again, especially when you're just trying to not have to look directly at the screen. This is the one place where you'd rather have that old, the old man. Back in my day, you could feel the click.
I am going to be an old man about that one, probably the rest of my life, if I had to guess. But this time yesterday, we were also asking you about your version of free therapy. You know, working out was one that we kind of came up with, just moving your body a little bit. Roller skating for myself. We always turn the questions over to you on our socials, and we got some pretty good responses. Steve Gesford says, sitting on my porch, bird watching. Love it, Steve. Kevin says, going somewhere beautiful and taking a long stroll, taking pretty pictures. Ethan said, sitting in the bay in the middle of winter. Interesting.
Interesting. I didn't know the winter part was going to be coming.
I didn't see the winter part coming either. Sarah says, gaming and loud music in the car. A good playlist is also just solid therapy. Lateef Merritt Schofield, remember from the bathtub races? He was our hula guru. He says hula hooping.
Of course. What else would he do?
Of course. Liz says gym, then a dip in the pool or going to the beach, swimming in the ocean. Del Marvelous Dawn and OC Buddy, they say riding through Assateague to see all the nature and its glory. We got a lot of beach gifs and photos attached. Steven says reading. Donald says so many, who can pick a favorite. Dave says a fishing rod, a cold beer, and an empty beach.
Well, I know this. Our first guy there that likes the bird watching on the porch, he's a crank window guy. I can just feel it. He wants tactile buttons. He's on my team, I think.
So we'll turn this question over to you as well. Is there an outdated piece of technology that you are just going to cling to, maybe just because you like it? We want to hear from you too. But we've got more show to get to. It's also a relevant time of year to discuss a little bit of boating safety when we get back.